Hi, seventh graders. Hope you had a nice Thanksgiving break. To get right back into our percents, we're looking at lesson 6. This is about fluency, so doing the math as efficiently and quickly as we can. The opening exercise here says solve the following problem using mental math only. That means it doesn't want us to do an is over of equals percent over 100. It wants us to just use what we know about percents to try to solve this. Corey and Everett have collected model cars since the third grade. Corey has 80 model cars in his collection, which is 25% more than Everett has. How many model cars does Everett have? So this sounds like a tape diagram. So I'm going to draw a box for Corey, and I know that that box is 80 cars total. And then I have a smaller box for Everett because Corey's is 25% more. So that's not a whole lot more. So let's make a box about that size. So this little piece right here is the extra 25%. And now think about 25%. How much of 100 is that? Well, that's a nice easy one. That's just, 100 into 4 sections. So let's break this down into 4 sections. So Corey has 5 of these sections that are all 25%. And Everett has 4 of these sections. So all I need to do is take this 80 and break it down into 5 sections. So 80 divided by 5 gives me 16. So there is going to be 16 in each of these boxes, including this 25. And Everett had 16 each. So 4 16s is 64. And that gets me my answer. Yep. How many model cars does Everett have? He's got 64. Corey has 80, which is 25% more. "75% of the students in Jessie's class are 60 inches or taller. If there are 20 students in her class, how many students are 60 inches or taller?" Okay, so this 60 inches or taller is not a number we are going to use. It is just a descriptor, so it's just our adjective on there. So I'm not looking at that as a number I'm going to work with. I'm going to work with 75% and 20. So 75% of the students in Jessie's class are this description. So here is the whole class. And since we're doing 75s, that would be groups of 4 again. So that's the whole group, that's 20. 75% of them are that much taller. So that would be these 3 make 75%. So can you figure out there how many kids that is? So that would be 15 students in the class of 20. So just using some mental math, using some tape diagrams, trying to figure out what we've got here. Bobby wants to leave a tip for her waitress equal to 15% of her bill. Bobby's bill for her lunch is $18. How much money represents 15% of the bill? Okay, so we could do another tape diagram like this, but 15% out of 100 is not a number that's coming to me as quickly as 25 or 50 or 75 does. So I think on this one, the most efficient way would still be the is over of equals percent over 100. So I know that this 15% always goes over the 100. So now I just got to figure out what to do with the $18. So the $18 is what you're paying for lunch, and you're trying to figure out the tip. So do you think the 18 goes on the top or the bottom? The 18 is the whole, so that is going on the bottom, and the amount on the top will be the smaller portion, that is the 15%. So I'm going to multiply diagonally. So 100x equals 15 times 18, which is 270. Dividing by 100, we can do pretty quickly by just moving the decimal over 2 places. And that is not how I want to write money as my answer. So I'm going to add a 0 and I'm going to add a $sign. So for an $18 lunch, if you're going to leave 15%, you should leave $2.70. Express 9 hours as a percentage of 3 days. Okay, so Let's do line equals line 100. We're looking for what percentage? 9 hours out of 3 days, but we can't have two different units. We can't have hours and days. So I need to turn 3 days into a number of hours. That is going to be 24 hours in a day times 3, and that gives me 72. So the 72 will go on the bottom. I can do my butterfly cross multiplication. 72x is 900. Divide by the 72. And that works out to 12.5%. So 9 hours is 12% of 3 days. Richard works from 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. His dinner break is 75% of the way through his work shift. What time is Richard's dinner break? From 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. That sounds like a really long time. So, isn't that 14 hours? Okay. His dinner break is 75% of the way through his work shift. I'm pausing because that is a ridiculous amount of time there. What I'm thinking is it's going to take another hour to get to noon. You're going to have to go another 12 hours. You're going to have to go up to 3 a.m. So the way I'm reading this question is he's worked 14 hours. 75% is something that we could manage pretty easily. We could do line equals line 100. Line equals line 100. I know 75% of the way through 14 hours is what? But let's see if we can do it a little quicker doing the tape diagram here. So if this is 14, I'm going to divide it up into 4 sections. That doesn't really work too well. That'd be 3.5 in each. And this is where he's taking his lunch break. So this is 10.5 hours in. So what is 10.5 hours from 11 a.m.? I'm going to take an hour off of this to get to lunch, or to get to 12 a.m., sorry. And then that would be 9:30 p.m. This is a crazy question here. Okay, so, yep, that's when he's taking his break. At a playoff basketball game, there were 370 fans cheering for School A and 555 fans cheering for School B. Express the number of fans cheering for School A as a percent of the number of fans cheering for School B. So what I'm going to do is like we did on our second day, I believe it was, we're going to make this into an is of sentence. So the number of fans cheering for School A, I'm going to just replace all of that with 555 is what percent of the number of fans cheering for School B, cheering for School, oh, I got the wrong number there, I'm sorry. So let's swap this first 555 out. That is 370. So line equals line 100. 370 is what percent of 555? I'm going to do my cross multiplication butterfly. So 555x is 3700, 37,000 divided by 555 gives us 66 repeating percent. I'm going to round it. Express the number of fans cheering for School B as a percent of the number of fans cheering for School A. So we're going to turn that right around and see how it compares. So flipping these two numbers. One thing I'm going to notice is it will be more than 100% because 555 is bigger on the top. And I'm going to guess we're going to get another repeater. So I am typing in 55,500 divided by 370. Oh, it's not though, it's 150%. What percent more fans were there for school B than for school A? So school B is 150% of that. So what they're saying is not looking at the percentage between them, but what percent more. So that would be 50% more because we had that 100, which meant the same number plus another 50. A plant in Michaela's garden was 40 inches tall one day and was 4 feet tall 1 week later. By what percent did the plant's height increase over 1 week? Okay, so ignoring the 1 week, I don't have to do something with that, but I do have to fix this inches and feet because I need all the same units. So this is 40 inches, so I'm going to change 4 feet into 48 inches by multiplying by 12. So how much did it increase? It increased 8. If you remember our percent change, line equals line 100. The change goes on the top, so this 48 take away 40 will go on the top. And then what it originally was, so it started as 40 is going on the bottom. Now that looks like a nice pair. I think we're going to get a good answer on this one. 40x is 800, divide by 40, and x is 20%. Lauren must obtain a minimum number of signatures on a petition before it can be submitted. She was able to obtain 672 signatures, which is 40% more than she needs. How many signatures does she need? Okay, so I am thinking that a tape diagram might help on this one, although these numbers aren't particularly super, at least to get us to understand what's going on here. So this is how many she needs, and this is what she got. She got 40% more. I think I'm still going to do a line equals line 100 though, and I'm looking for how many signatures she needs. That number is going to go on the bottom here. That is the whole, that's the group that she needs. That's this 100% here. And then this 672 is 40% more than that, so it is 140% of what she needed to accomplish. I'm going to cross multiply. 140x is 67,200 divided by 140 gives me 480, and this is signatures. And let's just make sure that that makes sense. Let me put my percent sign on there. So she needed 480 and she got 672, which is that 480 plus another 40% on top of there.